The next thing we're going to do is take a deeper look at templates. We looked at them briefly before, but we're going to dig into them a little bit more now. So we're going to create a new app. It's just going to be called templates. Now we'll go into our application directory and we'll just run it. So here's our blank app, which really does nothing at this point. So I'm just going to clear out a bit of this code. Okay, so I've taken the generated application and just cleared out some of the code. So there's no JavaScript, and there's just hello world. And that's it. That's all this application's doing right now. But let's get to the first part. To define a template, you use the template tag and the name property, which is what Meteor will use to generate it in the template global. So let's call this one hello. And let's move our content of hello world inside this template. So now if we go back to the browser, you see that the application is blank. So we can call this template by using the handlebars expression and give it the name of the template. And there, now you can see that hello world is back and inside a template. Not only that, but if we take a look at our console, you can see that the template global now has a hello function, which is because we defined that template in our HTML. And that's how you define templates and call them. The next thing we're going to take a look at are some of the helpers that handlebars and Meteor provide you. So we've talked about how to define templates, how to call them, and now I want to talk about helpers and how blocks in handlebars work. So I've already set up a little bit of code, but it's still our original hello example. The only thing that's changed is I've added a BR here, and I've added some handlebars code. I've also added some data, and we'll take a look at that in a second, but let's go see what it looks like in the browser first. So we can see it's still printing hello world, but now it also prints Jack is not an admin, John is an admin, Jill is an admin. So the first thing I want to talk about are each blocks. We've seen them before briefly, but just to reiterate, they just loop an array. Inside in each block, the context for this is the item it's iterating. It's just one of these items. So another block element we're using is the if block. We're just checking that the admin property is true in this case, and printing out is an admin. Else cases aren't preceded by the hash, and ending blocks, like the if tag, end with a slash, just like they do in each block. So another thing you can do with helpers is they can help you refactor code. So right here we have this if statement, and this big block of code that we might not necessarily want to write every time, so we can actually refactor that into a helper. And that's what I've already written over here. You can see that this helper, print admin, just checks that the admin flag is true. If it's true, it returns is an admin. If it's not, it returns is not an admin. Let's go see what that looks like. And there, you can see that we've now shortened that code and refactored it into a helper. The other thing you should know about is not only do your templates have their own individual helpers, but you can have global helpers. I've already written one right here. And all this one does is it returns global helper. So it's definitely not our expected result, But I want to show this because precedence between template helpers and global helpers are a little different. So we'll see that this actually doesn't take effect on our application. It still works as expected because we have a template helper which overrides the global helper. If we remove this one, we'll see that the global helper is running. And there, you can now see that it's the global helper. That's it. That's how you use helpers in Meteor.